Good afternoon. Welcome to the LD Nutrition Stadium for this round one of the Betfred Championship between Featherstone Rovers and Halifax. The teams this afternoon are, for Featherstone Rovers, number 1 Ian Hardman, 5 Luke Briscoe, 2 Sean Robinson. In the centres are Josh Hardcastle and Missy Talapapa. Standoff is Martin Ridyard. Scrum half is Tom Holmes, prop Luke Cooper and Scott Wheeldon, hooker is Keil Carlisle, second row Connor Farrell and John Davis, loose forward is Richard Moore, on the interchange Anthony Thackeray, Gareth Hock, Frankie Mariano and Mitch Clark, head coach John Duffy. The Halifax lineup this afternoon: number 1 Will Sharp, on the wings Ben Heaton and Jai Hitchcocks, in the centres James Woodburn Hall and Steve Tyrer, standoff Scott Morell, scrum half Ben Johnston, props Wilmar and Elliot Morris, hooker Ben Kay, second row Ed Barber and Simon Grix, loose forward Jacob Fairbank, on the interchange Dan Fleming, Brandon Douglas, Brandon Moore and Alex Foster. Today's sponsors: the big match sponsor Amico IT Services, associate match sponsor Pinders, man of the match sponsor Task Utilities Limited, match ball sponsor Duncroft Electrical Solutions. This is Rovers TV, brought to you by DJL Fencing. This is our house, this is the LD Nutrition Stadium, and it's the start of the 2018 season of the Betfred Championship. My name is Joanne Fitzpatrick, and joining me this afternoon on commentary is Joe Needley and Joe Crabtree. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon, Joe. Good afternoon, Joanne.
So we'll just have a look. We're waiting for the teams to come out, eagerly anticipated. A decent crowd this afternoon. The weather's good. Featherstone have turned out in numbers. Halifax sold all their ticket allocation. They're going to be loud as well. They keep telling us behind those sticks. It's up to Featherstone to keep them quiet, isn't it?
Definitely all on. They've shown what they can do against Halifax in pre-season, but now comes the real business.
It certainly does. We're just having a look. We were talking in Facebook Live. Matty Wildy was the one to miss out, Joe.
He is, and it's unfortunate because his game streak comes to an end. But if he hasn't been performing in training, I'm afraid to say that's just how it goes, I'm afraid. And that's the business of rugby league. If you don't perform well enough or train hard enough in the eyes of the coach, no disrespect there, Matty, but I mean, if it doesn't happen, then you're just not picked. Sometimes it can be luck, but who knows?
It could also be the fact that Anthony Thackeray's passed the head test, and it could be a tactical choice as well, I do believe.
Definitely. You look at that lineup, and it's just the case of you've got so much variety then in terms of the options available to John Duffy when he's got Anthony Thackeray on the bench. Tom Holmes being able to fill in at hooker is a massive plus for Featherstone in that area, and I think he's somewhat undecided. There's the always reliable Ian Hardman down at full back, but you could also bring an Anthony Thackeray in. You've got that as a great option too, as we've got fireworks going off behind the main.
The fireworks at the back of the stand, fireworks off the field. Let's hope for some fireworks on the field. The team's just about ready to come out. The referee this afternoon is Mr. Gareth Ewer. I can see that Halifax are lined up there in the tunnel, just awaiting the Featherstone team, I do believe. John Duffy must be doing last-minute preps with them. Here they are now. Ian Hardman, the captain, getting ready to lead them out onto the pitch. Eagerly awaited. Flags are there. The cheerleaders are cheering. The atmosphere is building for this game. And here come both the teams. It's round one of the 2018 Betfred Championship. Featherstone Rovers versus Halifax. It's a big one. It's a big opener, is this, isn't it, Joe?
Well, it's just like last year, Joe. I mean, very, very good to open the season against local rivals here. It's one that will really set an example and may even lay down a marker today if Fev getting the win over Fax. And just a reiteration on the referee, Gareth Ewer. He was at Wembley in 2016, so maybe the RFL are treating it as a special one to have an experienced figure out there, Joanne, wouldn't you agree?
Certainly, yeah. It's like I say, it's a big game is this. Both teams with their mascots lining up in front of the flags. We've got Percy out there as well. Halifax fans to our left in the new stand singing away. Featherstone fans a little bit quiet over there. There's plenty of them, but I'm guessing they're waiting to see what's going on the field before they start singing.
Drowned out by the fireworks going off behind them, to be honest. I tell you what though, Joe, I wish the cheerleaders could organise the teams walking out, because that was a right plan.
Yeah, I think they needed to be the other way around, the teams there, didn't they? But we've got there in the end, haven't we? We're there in front of the flags, all the dignitaries, referees in a very natty shade of what's that, Lincoln green? Would you say?
Well, it's certainly not shades of grey. Put it that way.
No, definitely shades of green, and yes, could be camouflaged with the turf at some point when we get more lush pictures.
Well, it could look more grey, so you could still be satisfied yet, Joanne. You never know.
So Martin Ridyard is going to kick this game off. Featherstone Rovers are going to be playing towards the Post Office Road end. Do you think that would have been a win of the coin toss for Featherstone?
Traditionally, Fev like going downhill in the second half, but I think today it could be all about the start. It could all be about getting on top to start with, and then if they've got a lead at half time, you've got to back Fev to hold it.
You certainly have. It's all about how both teams start, and I think with Ridyard, he's going to have this kick-off. It's going to be a big chase from the Featherstone forwards, surely, and it's a deep kick-off. It bounces on the turf, so it's a tricky one for Halifax to collect, and there go the Featherstone forwards straight in, pushing the Halifax player back. 5 metres away from his own line, not a bad start.
Well, it was Elliot Morris there, struggling to get to the ball, and this is very good defending by Featherstone there, because, I mean, from the kick-off, Scott Morrell, I thought he was taking him back to his younger days there, scrambling to get to the ball, but he had to leave it to Morris, but here comes Featherstone, and in on Jacob Fairbairn, that's John Davis in the wager.
And they're pushing him over the try line, it's going to be a dropout force. What a brilliant bit of defence by Featherstone, that's putting a marker down.
Well, it all started from a spiral kick-off by Martin Ridyard, bounced horribly in the turf, and then a phenomenal trace from Featherstone on that far side. Luke Cooper and Farrell getting up on the Halifax players, then the commitment just continued throughout that set. Halifax couldn't be released.
The dropout's taken, it's going to come to Tom Holmes. The Featherstone fans are singing now, that's for sure. It goes to Scott Wheeldon. Halifax players up on him, he's 30 metres out, away from that try line. Carlisle waiting at dummy half. It's going to come to Cooper, his first drive forward. He gets put to the floor quite easily though, does Cooper.
Well, he'd love another try, Joanne. I mean, after all, we've seen his celebration gif.
Holmes now, Holmes to Ridyard, Ridyard to Harmon, a little bit stuttery that. It's lost a little bit of momentum in the play there, but Featherstone is still in a good position. The 12 metres out, Carlisle in at dummy half, gets it to Ridyard. Ridyard shows it twice, comes to Holmes. They're giving some width here, it goes to Talapapa, but Talapapa gets put to the floor by Woodburn Hall. He's 10 metres out, plays the ball, quick play the ball to Tom Holmes, back to Richard Moore. Moore's on the charge, 5 metres out, he gets the ball out the back door. Farrell picks it up, he comes back again, passes it to Wheeldon. Featherstone make a mess there, Hardman kicks it through, but the referee's given a knock on.
Oh, such a shame that, Joanne, because, I mean, Richard Moore did ever so well to get the ball away. I mean, but then again, the way he offloaded it, you'd think it was a hot potato or something, But yeah, it was such a shame Wheeldon put it down, because they had the overlap there, just couldn't get in.
Bit of panic there, I think, really. Perhaps one pass too far, and Connor Farrell's pass wasn't the best, was it?
Definitely. Great opportunity created on the second phase, but at that point there's got to be a bit of composure from the Rovers. It seemed to be they saw their opportunity and thought it was the only one they'd get.
Yeah, I agree, and Halifax coming out from the scrum, going down the blind side, but Featherstone tacklers are in there, 3 on there, 20 metres away from their own line, Halifax are.
Featherstone now needing to show the commitment in defence they did in that first set.
Coming down that short side once again they are with Steve Tyra, but Featherstone get them on the floor, and Tyra's trying to milk a penalty there, pulling Briscoe down. Will Sharp now takes it forward. He runs into a brick wall of Luke Cooper and Richard Moe, pushing back to the 20-metre line.
Well, they really are up for this, Featherstone. I mean, even then Steve Tyra was a bit annoyed, and that looked a touch forward pass, but he's missed it.
Ben Kay there with a very flat pass at the best. I think it was a touch forward, Joe, I agree there. So Halifax making the way up to the 40, and Talapapa comes out of the line, and the ball's got away. There's a little bit of a gap, but Featherstone defence scramble back, and Halifax get tackled. It's the last, and they're still short of the 40, and milking once again there by Ed Barber, trying to
Joanna must say
get a penalty.
the whistle should have gone there because Ed Barber actually lost control of that ball. It should have either been a knock-on or a penalty, but the referee said play on. But I've just got to say there, if something should have been given. But nevertheless, this is a good run by Tom Holmes.
Yeah, the kick came from Halifax. Tom Holmes collected it on his own 40 and he dodged around a few Halifax players, and not the great best of passes there to Luke Briscoe, who receives one round the chops for his troubles, and the penalty's given.
Definite high tackle there from Simon Griggs. Luke Briscoe, real workhorse, sometimes bringing the ball out of deep areas. Tom Holmes, though, with that kick return, the man just wouldn't go down.
He wouldn't, would he? And Tom Holmes on the halfway puts the kick forward. It's going to be a tap taken 20 metres out. That's a great kick from Tom Holmes. So Featherstone in a good position here. They need the composure.
Well, it was a 30-metre kick there by Tom Holmes, and as long as Featherstone can now back up, they've got to capitalise here, Joe, and really make up for the missed opportunity last time.
John Davies 12 metres out, plays the ball. Scott Wheeldon on the charge. He pushes one Halifax player off, gets put to the ground. 5 metres away from that line. Can Featherstone breach it this time? Keil Carlisle to Ridyard. Ridyard with a looping pass over the top to Talapapa. Talapapa gets it out the back door to Sean Robinson, but he has to scramble back. Does well to stay in the field of play.
Great work to retrieve the ball there, Robinson, now as Talapapa brings the ball back from the foot of the ruck. He's got Featherstone back inside the 10.
8 metres out, Featherstone are, and Talapapa's going to play the ball. Carlisle's looking towards the middle of the pack to that man Ridyard. Ridyard again shows it to Moore, gets it to Holmes. Holmes to Hardman. Hardman to Briscoe. Briscoe's going to go in for a try for Featherstone Rovers. Early doors there, 5 minutes gone. Featherstone score, 4 points to 0.
Oh, that was awesome play that by Featherstone. I mean, Martin Ridyard, he just showed the ball, missed one man out and then found Hardman, and then it was a walk-in for Luke Briscoe there. And I'll tell you something, Joe, that is deja vu, because in the meeting last year at the Shea, it was Luke Briscoe who scored the opening try in this fixture, and he's just done so again.
Nice stats there from the Needley.
Featherstone looked to be forcing it a little over on that left edge, didn't they? But then they brought it to the right side, their passes were sticking, and they made it look easy.
They certainly did. It came to that man Ridyard. Ridyard, he dummied and got it out to Tom Holmes. Tom Holmes got it out to Hardman, who'd linked in, and then to Luke Briscoe. And like you say, Joe, it was just an easy walk-in. Ridyard wasn't great with the boot, was he, against Leeds Rhinos? Let's see how he is today even, not tonight.
Well, the wind does seem favourable, but we'll see how he copes with it, as the referee has called time off there. But just going back to it, it's a morale boost really that we've scored this early in the game as well, but hopefully we won't get complacent. And but then again, here's Ridyard. Can he live up to expectation and be the prolific goal kicker that we hope him to be? Who knows?
It would be good to go up in sixes, wouldn't it? And Ridyard is just about 12 metres in from this right-hand touchline.
And 1, 2, 3, Joanne.
Here he goes. He's missed it. Ooh, his kicking boots aren't on at this opening games of the season. Certainly not Martin Ridyard. He'll be a bit disappointed with that. It certainly was kickable. Like you say, the wind's not really much of a factor, but still Featherstone Rovers 6 minutes gone. Well, 7 minutes almost. 4 points to 0 in the lead here at the LD Nutrition Stadium. This is our house, and that was a great try.
Well, unfortunately, Ridyard couldn't succeed where I think it was Ian Hardman failed last season when Hardman missed the conversion and Fev had to do with a 4-0 lead early on, and Ridyard, sadly not. But still, early days yet, and you never know, Fev could even go on with this and really give Fact something to think about as the kick-off. Ooh. Well caught by Holmes. And
Tom Holmes, goalkeeper style there. Morell with a tricky kick-off, and Luke Briscoe now brings the ball forward over the Featherstone 20.
Well, who needs David De Gea in your team after that?
I know, it was a great save, wasn't it? So, ball's driven forward now by Josh Hardcastle. Further 10 metres. Coming down the short side with John Davis. John Davis takes on Will Marr. And Steve Tyra gets up to the 40. So, Featherstone going up in 10s at the moment. Wheeldon now trying to make it up to the halfway line. Gets tackled a few metres short of that. Now it comes to Holmes. Holmes dummies. It's coming across to Ridyard. Back to Connor Farrell on the reverse. Gets into the Halifax half. Up to the Halifax 40. It's the last. Carlisle's going to get it to Ridyard here. And Ridyard's going to put the kick through. A little one floating over the top. It's going to go into touch. No, it's not. It's taken by Will Sharp, who gets clattered by the chasers.
Will Sharp. A lot of fine days on this stadium's turf. Tell you what, front on the receiving end of many challenges, firmer than that in all that time.
He's coming back for some more though. He's got the ball once again, but yeah, Talapapa was up really quick on him there. That was great play by the Featherstone chasers. Luke Cooper Hardcastle in on the tackle here. They're still 20 metres out from their own line. Featherstone wanting to keep it clean. And Luke Cooper in with another tackle. It's the last, and they're only 25 metres
Phenomenal
out.
defence again from the Rovers here.
It certainly is, and the pass comes and the kick comes in. It's a rushed kick, and Sean Robinson has to just check himself a little bit. It was an awkward bounce, but here he comes on his trademark kind of run, and I'd say that was a little bit high on him, but perhaps across the chest. He makes it up to halfway though. Josh Hardcastle fancying a little bit now. He's taking it up to the Halifax 40.
Well, Joanne, what some fans missed in that, it was Elliot Morris, the prop forward, putting the kick in there for Fax, and I think that is the first ever time he's putting a kick in a professional game. So well done to Featherstone for forcing Halifax into such pressure.
They made a real mess in there, and there's a penalty to Featherstone. It was Ed Barber messing around with Connor Farrell on the floor.
There's been a bit of that already from Halifax. We saw that high tackle coming from Simon Griggs, and now some funny business on the floor over there. They're trying to get under Featherstone's skin, and Featherstone just not allowing them to do so far.
I think the Featherstone fans are getting under Scott Morell's skin a little bit as well. I think there's a few chants about his weight out there, but Featherstone with the tap on the 10. Talapapa driving it forward towards the line. He's wanting to get on the score sheet already as Talapapa. He gets put to the floor. He tries to get up to play, and a little bit of a delay. It comes down that short side with Connor Farrell. Farrell tries to turn. He's trying to get over the line. It could be held up here, I think. And he is, so the ball's going to be brought back 10 metres.
Tell you what, it was a real backwards reverse leg drive there from Farrell though. He's shown significant improvement in pre-season, and now he's a real asset over on that far side for the Rovers.
Well, yeah, he was a bit low on confidence when he came to Featherstone, and I think he is a good player. He just needs to have some game time. So Featherstone with the ball now. It comes to Ridyard, to Moore. Moore takes it up to the 10-metre line. He keeps hold of it this time. No passes, so keeping the composure now, Featherstone. Carlisle goes for a little run with Scott Wheeldon and a short pass. He leg drives towards that line under the posts. He just is tussling, and they need a quick play of the ball here to Featherstone, and they do get it with Ridyard to Hardman. Hardman to Talapapa. Talapapa's going himself. He could have got it out to Robinson, I feel, there, and he's lost the ball, but it's a penalty for a reef.
Well, it was very unlucky there. That's twice Featherstone have gone down their left-hand side and have been very close to scoring. It's taken some scrambling efforts. I think that was Jacob Fairbank that time putting it in. But yeah, I mean, Connor Farrell before, there was a gap there and he was unlucky. And same again with Talapapa, but still credit Featherstone. They've really got Halifax on the back foot here. And I'll tell you something, getting into them this early could tire them out and stand Featherstone in good stead later in this game, Joanne.
12 minutes gone in this game. We've just got a player getting some attention down there for Halifax. 12 minutes gone. It is 4-0 to Featherstone Rovers. Featherstone with all the play at the moment in this game as the water comes on. Matty Wildy there bringing the water on.
Well, the try's been scored for the Rovers over on this right side, but you could see the threat again there on the left fringe. Missy Talapapa, the penalty machine. He's seen as that for a reason because he's earned Featherstone great field possession to start their set again here.
Featherstone do a little bit of a backwards kick. They want to play the ball, take the tap 10 metres out, and they do with Keil Carlisle to Farrell to Moore. Moore shows it and then decides to go himself. He gets tackled on the 10. Carlisle in at dummy half. He's going to give the ball to Holmes. Holmes to Hardman. They're going for that same move, but Halifax are wise to it this time and get Hardman to the floor. Carlisle now to Holmes. Holmes to Cooper. Cooper on the reverse. Gets tackled 5 metres out. Halifax trying to organise their defence, and Holmes with the ball once again. It gets to Ridyard, to Hardman, to Talapapa, to Robinson. Robinson's diving in at the corner. Does he get the ball down? He does. That's a try to Sean Robinson over on that left-hand side. Featherstone Rovers 8, Halifax 0.
Unbelievable from Sean Robinson over on that left side. He dives in, and that is one of the best finishes that I have seen down here at the LD Nutrition Stadium. They've looked dangerous down that left side again and again. Talapapa's offload not quite falling into Robinson's hands, but it came to him on that occasion, and there was no stopping it.
And I must say quickly, Ryan Atkins, that is how you do it.
Once again, it gets to Ridyard. Sean Robinson believed he could fly, and he could fly, but he could also touch the ball down as well. Yeah, it was an unbelievable finish by Sean Robinson. Totally fearless, wasn't it?
Well, I'll tell you what, Sean Robinson, he's sponsored by Tyres Planet, should be sponsored by Red Bull because that boy's got wings.
Very good. It could run and run all day, could this? A really tricky one for Martin Ridyard. We saw him fail on the right-hand side. He's got one totally on the touchline here, because how Sean Robinson got that down, I'm hoping that we got some great photographs and the second video camera angle of that, because I'm looking forward to seeing that again.
Well, it should be very good television as well, Joanne. But tell you what, would be better TV if Ridyard could knock this over. It's on his correct side, being right-footed, but and Novely can take us into double figures, but you never know.
You've been watching Six Nations, the conversion. It'd be better TV than a diving try over in the corner.
Oh, not better, Joe. Just nearly as good. I'll say it. We'll go with that.
Yeah, nearly. So Ridyard, come on.
And technically, it's half as important as a try, figuratively speaking.
Here he goes. Oh. No, he's not been able to convert that. So 12 minutes gone here at the LD Nutrition Stadium. We're going up in fours. Once again, it's Featherstone Rovers 8, Halifax 0. But like I said before, it has been all Featherstone. Featherstone 3 penalties to 0 as well. That shows how on the back foot that Halifax are. They're getting caned a little bit on the penalty count just because of the way that Featherstone have come at them. As Morel goes to restart the game, he's going for a similar kind of kick-off, and Holmes doesn't have to dive on the floor to retrieve it this time and can get it away to Scott Wheeldon. Charges up to his own 20. The ball comes from dummy half. Robinson dives under the first tackle up to the 30.
He's like a little terrier, is Robinson, so far.
He certainly is. He just reminds me, he's like a little nuggety terrier, isn't he? And causes loads of problems. Richard Moore now with the leg drive, going up to the 40.
Speaking of problems there, Joanne, Richard Moore certainly causing them as well.
He is, and Ridyard with a kick. He's going for a 40-20. He's going for a 40-20. He's got a 40-10. What a kick from Ridyard. Featherstone going to get the tap on the 10 here. They're going to take it quickly.
Yeah, and they could get over the line here if they can get underway quick enough, but the referee's not allowing them to for some reason.
Shocking. Anyway, Carlisle gets it. Ridyard to Wheeldon. Featherstone just need to compose themselves, not get too excited. But what a kick that was. 5 metres out, Featherstone are. Carlisle at dummy half. Oh, it's an interception from Halifax. The ball was going to Richard Moore and Halifax intercept. How important was that from Ed Barber? And they get a penalty as well, which Morel kicks into touch.
Well, that's a try-saving interception from Ed Barber there. As the kick to touch is caught by Ridyard. He knows how to find a touchline with 40-20. It's stops Halifax doing so, but then they make another interception. It's a knock-on awarded though, so Featherstone are going to have the ball. It's complete madness out there on the field.
It was crazy. Featherstone going to get there, put in at 32 metres out. So Halifax did the intercept, got a penalty. Morel rushing that kick into touch. What was he doing? I think he had a rush of blood to the head.
Well, there's that, or being over-ambitious, but I'm still pinching myself about what's happening in them last 30 seconds. But here's hoping Featherstone can calm that all down and extend their lead here.
Only one way to explain it. Scott Morel is a Martin Ridyard wannabe. He saw him with a big long touch finding, and he's like, I can do some of that. No, you can't, sir.
Holmes now from the scrum gets it to Hardman. Hardman's coming to the line. He gets tackled by Johnston. Tyra finishes him off. 30 metres out, Featherstone. Luke Briscoe comes from dummy half. He brings it forward. He's 22 metres out now. Carlisle in at dummy half. Gets it to Richard Moore. Moore charging it forward. Moore's been on fire in this opening 15 minutes. Carlisle now, 12 metres out. Gives it to Ridyard. Ridyard to Hardman. Hardman dodges. He's going for the line, is Hardman. He's, of course, one try away from the Ken Callit all-time try-scoring stats, so maybe he was after one there, but he don't get it. Ridyard now. Ridyard to Holmes. Holmes in space. Ooh, he meets a brick wall there. I think was it Steve Tyre who got him there down on the floor. So Carlisle to Ridyard. Ridyard puts a little kick in. It comes back off Johnston. There could be offside. Halifax. Hardcastle picks it up, so that's why they couldn't pick it up, Halifax, and it's back to 1 because it had come off Ben Johnston. Hardcastle is a inches away from the line, and Featherstone with another set of 6 here.
Great composure there from Featherstone, just keeping calm, not panicking there. When that offside came about, they knew what was happening and they knew how to go about it.
Carlisle from dummy half going for the line. He fancies his chances, but 3 Halifax players and a 4th one comes in to put him down onto the floor. Still 4 tackles left in this set of 6 for Featherstone. It comes to Ridyard. Ridyard, with a risky pass. It goes to Talapapa to Robinson. Robinson once again trying to go forward. He dodges around Talapapa. He could have been done for obstruction there, but he isn't. 8 metres out.
Well, great recovery play there by Robinson. Just came inside and nearly got through. Might do now.
Yeah, it comes to Davis. And Halifax have picked it up. Halifax are racing away, and
I think it's Jai Hitchcock who's away, but he's trying to run rings around Talapapa. That's great recovery. That's Richard Moore who's come back to catch him there. That's incredible from them.
Certainly is.
Connor Farrell's pinched it. What's happening here? Oh God, it's even more madness here at the LD Nutrition Stadium. Joanne, what's going on?
I really don't know. Richard Moore chasing Jai Hitchcock's back. What on earth is that all about? But Halifax in a position they've not been for a long time. They're 35 metres away from that Featherstone line. A much relieving interception for them as Elliot Morris gets tackled. 32 metres out. Ben Kay to Morrell. Morrell to Johnston. Johnston gets it to Will Sharp, who takes on Tom Holmes and almost gets round him. That could have been danger for Featherstone. John Davis eventually gets Sharp down. It's 15 metres out. Ball's coming forward with Will Marr now. Will Marr up to the 10-metre line. The season-long loan from Castleford for Halifax. So Halifax fans willing them over the line as Ben Kay gets it out to Morrell. Morrell with a little pass over the top. Sean Robinson just cannons the Halifax player into touch there. Was it Ben Heaton?
The determination on display out there from Sean Robinson there, hammering them out into touch and just following up on Richard Moore with that incredible comeback. I tell you what, that army camp they had in pre-season must have been something special, because the speed at which he came back was like a missile.
Greg Stebbins has done his job with these players. He's got them as fit as anything.
Yeah, Richard Moore is completely timeless. In his 30s, approaching retirement. He's definitely not showing that.
In his 30s, he's almost 40, I think.
But I tell you something there. I mean, I say something in back play. I'll be truthful. I mean, Connor Farrell there, when he got the ball, pinching the ball one-on-one off Hitchcock's there. Could be thankful that it wasn't sin bin, perhaps, because I mean, because he was already tackled was Hitchcock's, and he could have been penalised, and because it would have been a line break, could have been a professional foul. But the referee didn't see it that way. Well,
I think the ref sort of said he'd called time off. He'd said both players were held and to sort of bring the play back. So luckily for Farrell, he didn't get pinged for that. So Talapapa now brings it up to his own 30. Featherstone trying to get out of their own half here. They don't like being down there. Robinson brings the ball forward. A little bit of a attention round his face there from Elliot Morris. Connor Farrell taking it forward. Marr meets him and tackles him to the floor. Featherstone still in their own half. Cooper takes it up to just short of halfway. It's the last tackle. Comes down to the left to Ridyard. Ridyard puts the kick in along the floor. It scoots up to Will Sharp. The chase is going to come from Moore and Farrell and Cooper. Wheeldon's there as well, so he's got a reception party almost there as Will Sharp.
Well, I mean, he was Halifax's Player of the Year last year, was Sharp. But I'll tell you something, Featherstone must have done the homework on him thus far, because they've got into his face every single time, and he hasn't caused too much trouble just yet as Ben Kay plays for a penalty. That's a good run from the hooker, all the same.
Good play by Scott Wheeldon as well, because if he'd have tried to tackle Ben Kay, he would have been offside. Johnston trying to sell the dummy there, but Featherstone are wise to it. Bring him down to the floor. He's on halfway. He looks a little bit ginger as he gets up and sort of like hopping a little bit, but that's a great run from Morris. Takes it over the Featherstone 40, and it's the last tackle. Ben Kay trying to milk something. Morrell hoiks a massive kick up there for Robinson and Briscoe, and they make a mess, but it's gone through all the Halifax team, and I think eventually Halifax come up with it, but it's a handover because Featherstone didn't touch it, but gosh, they didn't deal with it neither, did they, Joe?
Featherstone unbelievably fortunate there that the ball comes to Halifax, but all the players are pouncing on it. All credit to Scott Wield, and he'd made sure he tracked back as a prop and was there to make the tackle, which causes the turnover, but they've got to be looking to get under it. Briscoe and Hardman, even if they knew who was claiming that. don't think either of them wanted to either.
I don't think they did neither. So Featherstone with that play the ball, and the ball comes free.
And the touch should just come on the field. I think Halifax are going to get penalised. It's Steve Tyra, and I think it's a dangerous tackle on Luke Briscoe. There's him and Will Mayer in there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of discussions going on as Featherstone make a double substitution. Mitch Clark and Frankie Mariano come on for Luke Cooper and Scott Wheeldon. They've played their hearts out, haven't they, in this opening 21 minutes?
They really have. For 20 minutes, they've run their blood to water. I think we've said Will Sharp's not been able to return the ball. There's the penalties awarded. It's a lifting call. The player's gone above the horizontal there, so Tom Holmes is going to make this kick to touch. And Halifax are going to have to be careful if they want to keep all their men on the field, because the game pinged a lot, and there's been some unsporting-like play out there from the Fax team.
There certainly has, and it could even be cited on report to the disciplinary panel for that if it was a lift above the horizontal. The RFL take a very dim view of it. So Mitch Clark on the field, first carry he goes there from that tap, and it's a great carry. That's how you want to make an impression to your coach that you've gone on loan to. And now Frankie Mariano, the other substitute, takes the ball forward up to the Halifax 20.
Whoa.
Keil Carlisle in at dummy half to Ridyard. Ridyard lays it back off to Moore, who gets tackled 15 metres out.
Well, they're both Castleford players, aren't they? Former Castleford players, Mariano and Collat, so they've got a point to prove. And as a feather, yeah.
Short ball from Holmes to John Davis. He's 5 metres out now. Keil Carlisle waiting at dummy half patiently. 5 metres out. Featherstone. Mariano goes for the line. He drops the ball though, and Ed Barber comes up with it and brings it away from the try line. Just a bit disappointing there, and Ed Barber gets the ball out and playing dangerous play, I'd say there. Tricky, risky play, but Halifax get tackled on their own 10.
Mariano had shape with the ball there, looking to reach over for the try, and don't think he was ever going to make it. Halifax really struggling to break out here. Determined defence from the Rovers. But yeah, Featherstone, I think, just need to realise when their moment is, because they're going to get chances here. They're giving a chance to Halifax, though. Offside, they're called there. And so it's now going to be the visitors with the penalty. They're taking a tap. Don't fancy themselves finding the touchline after that earlier failure, of course.
After Morell's attempt last time, I can't believe why they don't. They're coming, though, with Tyra down this side. What a tackle from Luke Briscoe on Tyra.
That was absolutely monstrous tackle by Briscoe on the centre there. Brilliant. I mean, Joe, your thoughts?
I think that's Briscoe wanting to give Tyra a taste of his own medicine, really. Briscoe's been under the hammer early doors, but he gave a little bit back there.
He certainly did. Come to Daddy. Johnston now gets it to Griggs. Griggs with a pass to Tyra. Briscoe's in there again because Tyra had to juggle with the ball a little bit.
Steve Tyra in Briscoe's pocket.
Griggs taking it forward. He makes it up to just short of the Halifax 30, and it's the last tackle. Ben Kay's looking both ways. He goes down the short with Johnston. Johnston puts a little grubber kick through for Hardman to deal with. He lets it bounce just before him, collects it safely, gets tackled about 8 metres away from his own line, plays the ball. Now it's coming forward.
Well, pretty decent kick there by Johnston, though, but well recovered by Tara and well recovered by Fev. But Halifax are actually down to 12 men as we speak, as Robinson goes off from acting half. I think they've got Steve Tara. No, it's not Tara, beg pardon. It's actually Johnston
I think,
down in
isn't
back
it?
play injured, yeah. So they're down to 12 men. Hopefully Fev can maybe capitalise on this.
Talapapa coming over to the other side for a little run, and now Holmes in at dummy half, gets it to Mitch Clark. Mitch Clark taking it forward. What a leg drive from Mitch Clark. He was even looking to offload the ball there as he makes it over halfway.
What a warrior-like run there now as the ball comes to Holmes for the kick. Oh, it went high there, but Will Sharp does well to take it. The defence up on him again with a great kick chase, and Mitch Clark is involved in the tackle again. Some players come on loan and they really look to prove themselves. He looks to be one of them. Featherstone, though, a little too eager on that occasion. Get pinged for offside, and Halifax with another penalty. Just easing up on Halifax a little bit, giving them these opportunities to have the kick to touch, give them some field position, because earlier they weren't getting out of their own 20 metres. 2
quick penalties for against Featherstone for offside. Perhaps just need to watch out, try not to get overexcited. They've got this one in control, and they don't want to lose control with 16 minutes left to half time. Morell with the kick to touch. Yeah. And Halifax are going to take the tap with Steve Tyra on the Featherstone 40.
And Gareth Hock is raring to come on and make his championship debut for Featherstone. He's already on the touchline.
Prowling he is as the ball comes forward with Brandon Douglas, who's just come onto the field. We've got Dan Fleming on as well for Halifax. Moore as well, Brandon Moore in at dummy half. So Halifax making a few changes. I think that was a shoulder charge on Richard Moore. Will Sharp takes it forward. He could get done for that, Richard Moore. I think it's gone unnoticed, but I thought that was a shoulder charge.
That could have been a little late as well on Jacob Fairbank. Richard Moore's going to have to be careful out there.
He does get that red mist on him, doesn't he, as the ball's bouncing around. Oh no, sorry, the Halifax player gets tackled, and it comes to Morell. They're 20 metres out. Goes to Brandon Douglas, who gets put to the floor by Keil Carlisle. They're 10 metres out. Featherstone just need to compose themselves. Fleming gets it to Morell. Morell with a kick to the corner for Robinson. Robinson tries to get it, but Halifax knock it on. The fans think that they've scored. No way have they. So it's a 20-metre tap for Featherstone Rovers.
Well, perhaps a little, if you'll pardon the pun, shortfall of Sean Robinson's game there. Ben Heaton over on that far side just had the height on him. He couldn't quite reach it. Heaton couldn't take the ball in though, and so the knock-on comes as Josh Hardcastle brings the ball to the 30 there. Richard Moore comes off the field now after a really good first stint, and Gaz Hock takes his first competitive ball in for the Rovers, finds an offload to Tom Holmes with that first run, and that's not a bad start.
Whoa, replacing Richard Moore with Gareth Hock, that's like replacing, I don't know, a monster with a monster almost.
Well, Freddie Kruger with Jason, we'll say that, there's a penalty.
Luke Briscoe trying to get up to play the ball. Halifax pushing back to the floor. Elliot Morris it was with Brandon Douglas that wouldn't let him get up. That was great play by Briscoe, and Featherstone with a penalty. They've not had a bit of possession up here in the Halifax half for a while. Halifax have been having a little bit of the fair share of possession in recent minutes, but Featherstone with the tap, 25 metres out. John Davis takes it forward, does a little jink, gets put to the floor by Douglas.
I'll tell you something, Joe, if Fev can score here, it'll be a real sucker punch there, here for Halifax, because I mean they've just had a try shot up at the other end, and if Fev can come down and score at the other end, that will be a blow for them, but a major boost for Fev, and the ball's come free. Oh, he's given a knock on, never mind.
Hock with the ball on 10 metres, he tries to get up to play it, and the referee gives a knock on. He didn't see anything untoward. Hock's not happy with that though.
Definitely not happy with that decision. Halifax though looking to combat Gareth Hock early doors, getting plenty of men on him. But I tell you what, if he can continue to get more offloads away like he did in the other end, and they're continuing to commit that many numbers to him, then there'll be space and gaps open up for the Rovers. Having Mitch Clark and Gareth Hock come into this Rovers team, having not played against Halifax in pre-season, it's like two secret weapons for the Rovers, and gives them that extra dimension that there wasn't there in pre-season.
8-0 to Featherstone Rovers it is, and there's a great push back by Featherstone from that scrum, and the 2 metres away from their own line, Halifax there. They really are. Talapapa now in with a great tackle. They are like a team possessed in defence, they certainly are, and it's 12 minutes to half-time. Like I say, 8 points to 0, and Mitch Clark and Mariano getting in on the act. They just need to be careful not to hold down, but my gosh, it's brutal out there.
John Davis there with a shot on Will Sharp. Unbelievable this from the Rovers. Every time something goes against them, the response has been phenomenal, and Hock and Hardcastle getting in there. Davis in support too.
It's the last tackle, and they're 10 metres away from their own line. Morell's having to put the kick in. It's not even going to make halfway. Hardman picks it up just inside the Halifax half. It's a decent chase from Halifax though.
Well, that was brilliant by Featherstone, the defending, and even more so, they got a full set 40 metres out, and I don't think I've seen that this season as Anthony Thackeray has now entered the field. I think he's on for Keil Carlisle there, and he is. But Feather come back on the attack again, Briscoe, and this is a good run, Joe.
It is. Briscoe takes it up 15 metres out. Tom Holmes in at dummy half. I'm not sure if Holmes has gone to that hooking roll. We shall wait and see. There's a bit of a mess in the ruck there. Had to wait for ages. Hardcastle taking it forward. Takes it over the 10.
Looks like that's the case then. Holmes has gone to that hooking roll. Knock on awarded again, just as Featherstone get inside that 10 metres with a real chance.
It's a penalty. The touch judge has given it. The touch judge called it. Hewer had missed it. Tom Holmes was going crazy. He's changed his mind and given the penalty.
I think rightfully so, because there was a Halifax leg in there, and the ball then went forward in Feb's direction as Mitch Clark takes it. Now this is another brutal run. He's having a hell of a game, this guy.
Mitch Clark, what a signing he is for a month. Let's hope it lasts. So Holmes in at dummy half, gets it away to Ridyard to Farrell. Farrell keeps hold because Halifax were hunting for that intercept again, as we've seen. Good play the ball, quick one to Ridyard, to Mariano, who juggles with it. Oh my word, Frankie, he's 8 metres out though. And it comes back into the middle with Mitch Clark, gets it to Ridyard, to Thackeray. Thackeray dummies, he was going to pass it to Harman, thought better of it. He gets tackled 5 metres out. There's still a couple of tackles left in this set of 6 for Featherstone to do something with. And it comes to Ridyard. Ridyard lays it off to Mariano, but Mariano, that's a great tackle from Halifax, from Elliot Morris. Last tackle coming up. What can Featherstone do with it? Ridyard is going to put a little kick through for Chase. Oof, sharp to Chase. He misses it and it goes dead. And Halifax are going to do a quick tap on the 20, and they do. Mariano gets back well though and tackles.
Great work from Mariano there. A lot of your fast players on the fringe were out there trying to chase that kick down. Mariano had stayed off, and he's got one of the nippy men of the Halifax side, Ben Heaton, running at him. Difficult job for a big man there, but he does well to take him in that challenge.
Certainly is. Alex Foster's on the field, so he gets the ball there at the moment. He's wearing number 27.
We've also got another Halifax player on here. I think that is Dan Fleming, who's come on for them, as Brandon Moore gets it to Brandon Douglas. Too many Brandons out there, for God's sake. But yeah, Featherstone, they just got to keep their defence composed now, because I think in the early build-up, Tyler Papa was a bit too enthusiastic. I think he dove too early for that ball. He could have actually got to it before he went down, but nevertheless, out of play and gone.
So Halifax just getting over the Featherstone 30. It's the last tackle. Featherstone need to be careful they don't give anything away here. It goes to Morell. Morell with a high up and under, and it's taken by Halifax. They try to get the ball away, and they end up in touch. Just wondering what the referee's going to give, saying that the ball was patted back. Is it Halifax putting at the scrum? So they're going to get another set of 6 here.
Halifax not having many chances against Featherstone, but they are getting some look out of their aerial bombs. That back three of the Rovers struggling to take them, and some of their taller men on the fringes competing well for it. Tell you what though, once they had claimed the ball there, they couldn't do anything with it though. They just couldn't keep hold of it, and almost everything went wrong on that fringe.
8 minutes left to half time. It's 8 points to 0 to Featherstone. Just going to say the sun's come out, so it was actually in Harman's eyes there for that bomb. So it was a clever kick by Morell, perhaps thinking about that sun. Perhaps something Featherstone can think about in the second half as the ball comes out the scrum. Comes to Will Sharp, who has to reach back for it. He gets the ball away to Tyra. Good tackle by Hardcastle, finished off by Briscoe there though. Hitchcock's in at dummy half. Gets it into the middle, back to Will Sharp. Now it comes to Brandon Douglas, who's trying to take it over that 10-metre line. Gets put to the floor. Moore in at dummy half. Gets it to Morell, and then it's brought on the charge. And the ball comes out to Brandon Moore. Douglas even. Too many Brandons, as Joe says. They're a metre short of Halifax, and the penalty goes to Featherstone. I think that was, again, trying to milk it there, but Gareth Hugh has given it. So Featherstone under the cosh a little bit in the last 10 minutes of this first half. Featherstone will want to keep Halifax out. They'll want to keep them scoreless going into half time. Moore in at dummy half. A little bit of a knock on there, surely, but it's not given. It comes out to the right hand side, and the ball's passed over, and they knock it to the floor. And I think Sean Robinson, herring down on Ben Heaton there, put him off.
Well, he's got him scared, hasn't he, as Robinson on Heaton? Heaton there, he's looking like a lost puppy. I don't think you know what's hit him, but maybe the rugby league justice system there, John, because it could have been a knock on at they play the ball by more, but Halifax then go knock it on in the end, and Featherstone get the ball back and rightfully awarded for their strong defence.
I think that's 3 times now that Ben Heaton's knocked the ball on over in that corner, and then when you take into account Sean Robinson battering him out to touch, he's not having the best of days.
Certainly isn't. Is a good player is Sean Robinson, isn't he? I've got a lot of time for him. So Featherstone with the ball from the scrum, taking it forward with Missy Talapapa, gets tackled just short of his own 20. Holmes in at dummy half, gets it to Hardcastle.
I was going to say Alex Foster's come on the field there and he managed to finish him up, but Featherstone as they're coming forward, they're making some good meters here, although Davis getting forced back there. But then again, they don't really need to panic, Joanne. They've just got to keep their composure and putting a good kick at the end of this set here, unless this guy produces something again.
Well, I was just going to say it was Sharp and Foster there in on that tackle on John Davis, and Alex Foster's a good player, and that was a silly bit of play there by Brandon Douglas, pushing the Featherstone player back down onto the floor, and the penalty's given.
It was Mitch Clark again, and I tell you what, Mitch Clark's almost maybe been too good in his first game for Featherstone now, as the referee's speaking to Ian Harmon, getting both captains out, bringing over Scott Morrell too. But if Mitch Clark continues going like that, he's going to get recalled. We're not going to see him in a Featherstone shirt for too much longer after his loan period. He's been phenomenal since coming onto the field.
Must be some bad language from the fans coming out there, because we've got that infernal RFL thing going off on the tannoy. You know, it's a game of rugby league. Come on, guys. 25 metres out anyway. The tap comes from Featherstone Rovers.
Well, they will do eventually when Halifax get rid of the second ball on the field.
And it's gone, so Connor Farrell now driving it forward. He hesitated a little bit there, and I think that was to his detriment, because he got pushed back by 3 Halifax tacklers, and Holmes in at dummy half, gets it to Gareth Hock on a charge. Hock gets the ball back away to Tom Holmes, but Holmes gets captured by 3 Halifax players, or 2 Halifax players. He's still 20 metres out, and the ball's brought forward now with Mitch Clark. He takes it up to the 10. Featherstone looking to do something here with Thackeray. Thackeray with a reverse pass to Holmes. That was a nice little move, but Halifax were wise to it. Harmon ends up on the floor as well. Mitch Clark in at dummy half to Thackeray. Thackeray with a little kick through for Hardcastle to chase. It's fielded though well by Halifax. They watch it go over the line. It's going to be a 20-metre restart.
I must say, Joanne, that was poor play by Featherstone. I mean, the kick from Thackeray, I can understand why he went for it, but there was nothing really on. There were no chases, and even before that, when Gareth Hock's offload to Holmes, it was too telegraphed, and Featherstone are becoming a little bit too obvious there. However, I mean, at 8-0 up near the line, I mean, why not try any tricks, as long as it's not intercepted, which we've seen more than once today.
We have. I'm just not sure about the Thackeray-Ridyard combination with Holmes at hooker. I'm not convinced yet, but seem to have lost a little bit of our shape and pattern since that happened. Halifax now, though, bringing the ball with Ed Barber. Ed Barber gets missed by Talapapa and by Robinson, and but eventually gets put down 35 metres out from his own line. Comes into the middle with Morrell. Morrell runs across and then gives it to Dan Fleming. Morrell was tackled a little bit late after he passed the ball. Nothing wrong with it though, but now the referee says there is something wrong. Not sure what he's calling time off for.
I think he's got the shoulder charge on Scott Morrell. The touch should just come on the field, and he spotted the shoulder charge by Clark on Morrell. He's hoping there's no major punishment. Although
let's hope not.
It was a split second one, yeah, but he still can't shoulder charge. Clark could have got away. Clark could have got away with that if he kept hold of Morrell and kept tackling him, but sadly not. It was just the charge and a penalty, I'm afraid.
Not necessary as well with Featherstone in control of the game like this. They don't need to force the issue. They just want to keep the status quo at a point like this. 4 minutes left in this half. It's 8 points to 0 to Featherstone, and Halifax now in the Featherstone danger area, and it comes to Will Sharp to Tyra. That's a great tackle by Briscoe and Hardcastle on him though to put him down. They're 8 metres out. Comes across to Grix, and then it's Dan Fleming bringing it forward. The big, tall figure of Dan Fleming, the new signing for Halifax. 8 metres out they are. Brandon Moore takes it to Grix. Grix to Morrell. They've got men over here of Halifax, but that's good tackling there. Over on that left-hand side by Talapapa. Now it comes to Barber. Barber straightens up, tries to take it forward himself. It's going to be the last tackle. Moore at dummy half. Brings it down that right-hand side. Morrell puts a little kick through, and Halifax could be in here with Ben Heaton, and they are. Fooled Sean Robinson. Well, Sean Robinson had a lot of men up against him there. He's had it over Ben Heaton all day, but on that occasion he manages to get the better of him. It's an awkward kick through from Scott Morrell. It bounces kindly for Heaton, who has no one around him, and he's able to put the ball down with ease.
Disappointing for Featherstone Rovers, totally being in charge in this first half, but it only don't look that great on the score sheet, 8-4, and if the kick comes in, it'll be only 2 points in it.
Well, unfortunately, this is what Featherstone, it really could come back to bite them on the backside, and it's very similar to the pre-season friendly this, where Featherstone, I believe, dominated that first half as well, and we're going to have a very similar looking scoreline at half-time. So just like the way we started the game against Fax last year, and just like pre-season, it's all deja vu today.
It is. Steve Tyrett will be with that conversion attempt. It's just in the field of play right-hand side, about 8 metres in, 7 metres from that right-hand touchline. He's going to go sort of like for quite an acute angle, because he's just short of the 20-metre line where he's kicking it from. He's a decent goal kicker, is Steve Tyrett, very, very experienced, so he... I think I fancy his chances on this one myself.
Yeah, they still say at Salford that they've had no one better than him since, and they've had a couple. O'Brien's not a bad kicker, but he is something special from the tee.
He's lining it up now. The Halifax fans behind those posts thought it had gone over, but it's actually hit the upright, and perhaps a little bit unlucky for Tyra there, but good news for Featherstone. It's Featherstone 8, Halifax 4, 2.5 minutes remaining in this first half.
Well, we spoke about it before the game, didn't we? We said that Featherstone had the better kicking game in that pre-season match, and that was one of the reasons they came out on top. But Halifax had Scott Morrell coming back in for this game, and if Featherstone would go outdo Halifax, they'd have to combat his kicking game. That's where the tries come from, and Featherstone haven't been able to keep him out yet with that.
Ridyard
Great
with
chase on that kick-off, though.
Clark and Hock and Farrell in there. I really wouldn't fancy that one. Elliot Morris, is it, or Dan Fleming, I think, that got actually crunched. But 29 minutes since Featherstone have scored a try. Like I say, they've dominated, but not really put the points on the board, and that might be something John Duffy's going to have to address at half-time.
It is, I'm afraid, as Hitchcock takes us in. They've just got to avoid Halifax. We'll make sure Halifax don't try something special here in the last minute of this half, and that was a very scrappy play the ball, but Brandon Moore is getting away, is he? Brandon Moore is away!
That wasn't a play the ball at all by Jai Hitchcocks, and shocking that Halifax are in this position. It is the last tackle though. 30 seconds remaining in this game. Griggs in at dummy half. They're coming down this left-hand side. Will Sharp puts the kick in. Hardman fields it. He takes it safely, and he's about 3 metres away from his own line. So Featherstone survive. Shocking play the ball by Hitchcock. Should never have been allowed. It should have actually been a penalty to Featherstone. Yeah,
well, very scrappy from both teams, but as long as Featherstone now can just see off this half and make sure, because I mean, as the hooter is going, I believe, is that in the background or?
I'm not sure what that was. It was
I think
it's a penalty to Featherstone actually as well.
The referee's ignored such calls and given the penalty, because I mean he's going by. He's got his own watch. So the judge, I think, is making a call to him, but we've got to play this penalty. It's not half time yet. He's given the penalty. You've got to play it. The play has stopped here.
No, yeah. That's it. I think he gave the penalty after the hooter. It was a really feeble hooter, wasn't it? Let's be fair, and I don't think Gareth Hewer actually heard it.
That hooter sounded like a depressed whale.
So
yeah, if the penalty's given on that play, though, I'm not sure when exactly or what incident the penalty was in relation to, but Featherstone could have had the kick to touch. Ultimately, they're not going to manage anything from the 20 metres, you suspect. So
it's good job it wasn't on the Halifax 10, isn't it?
Definitely. If it was in kicking distance of the goal, then it'd be a contentious match.
It would. So half-time here in this round one Betfred Championship game. It is all to play for in the second half. It's Featherstone Rovers 8, Halifax 4. We saw a great start from Featherstone Rovers with that pushback from the kick-off and the pushback from the dropout to force a dropout. That led eventually to Briscoe scoring a try on the 5-minute mark. 4-0 it was. Ridyard unable to add the extras. And then it was all Featherstone, and eventually it came out to Sean Robinson on that left-hand side. He went in for his try, and that made it 8-0. It was all looking rosy for Featherstone. And some of the defence that Featherstone have been putting in that first half has been absolutely brutal, as we say. And there should be some bruised Halifax bodies going into that dressing room at half-time. We saw that sublime 40-20 by Ridyard. Featherstone able to capitalise on it. And then Halifax started to slowly get back into the game. Featherstone made a few interchanges, and eventually they were rewarded with that Ben Heaton try from the Morel kick just before half-time. So it is 8 points to 4. Your thoughts on that first half, Joe?
Well, Featherstone completely dominated, but they just didn't capitalise on their opportunities enough. Squandered possession a fair few times in the Halifax 10 metres, and then when Halifax got down on the other end, on the few occasions that they did, Scott Morel's kicking game caused problems again and again. His high balls were difficult to take for the Rovers' back line, well chased by the Halifax team, and ultimately it's his grubber kick which brings about the try.
Certainly is, and it's been an interesting first half. It's been a good one. It's perhaps a typical first game of the season. The defence is on top. Some perhaps a bit of composure Featherstone need to do, and like I said, it's 29 minutes since Featherstone scored a try, so that could be something John Duffy's going to talk with his Chargers about at half-time, Joe.
He'll have to. I mean, he's really got to get Featherstone motivated now and really drill into them that they've just got to capitalise on their chances, because they've had plenty of missed opportunities there to really put Halifax to the sword, I'm afraid, Joe, and that's the main issue to address.
And Featherstone will be going up that slope in the second half. You'd want them to have got a little bit, 8-0 would have been okay. 8-4's not, I don't think, and they need to be looking at that as they come out into that second half. We're going to just take a little break now on Rovers TV. We'll be back shortly for that second half commentary. Don't go away, it's all in the balance. Welcome back to this second half at the LD Nutrition Stadium. And Halifax return onto the pitch with Featherstone Rovers. It's 8 points to 4 to Featherstone Rovers. Like I said just before the half-time interval, the game is in the balance. We've just been entertained by two teams out there, Featherstone Lions and I'm not sure if it's Brotherton Bulldogs out there, but they're a little bit of fisticuffs with the under-11s at the last minute.
I think we saw what Marchie would be like as a referee there, completely turning his back from the fight. Jamie Cordin having to go in there and break it up whilst he's picking up the guns.
Quite funny that, but bit of good half-time entertainment, a little bit of biff from the youngsters there. So anyway, back to the professional. Scott Morel it is who's going to get this second half underway. Featherstone playing up the slope towards the new stand. It's a high kick. Thackeray takes it safely, lays it off to Gareth Hock. Hock comes on the charge. Halifax though put him to the floor. Alex Foster got him there, and Hock I think got hurt there by Foster.
Yeah, Halifax getting plenty of numbers on Hock there as the ball comes away on the second phase. Josh Hardcastle taking it down that right fringe. Halifax seem very preoccupied by combating Hock. Featherstone therefore have to find that there's got to be gaps somewhere else. If look, they're getting 3 men in to take 1 man every time. That's
the thing. If Hock's going to take those men out, then we need a quick play of the ball and then capitalise on it. And the ball comes out to Mariano. Halifax up for it at the beginning of this second half in defence. Featherstone looking a little bit slow and jaded as Mitch Clark brings the ball up to his own 30. It's going to be the last now. So Tom Holmes in at dummy half. Gets it to Ridyard. Ridyard kicks just before the 30. It's not gone too deep, but it does bounce, and there's a chase from Thackeray, and Will Sharp just manages to gather the ball before Thackeray got to it.
It was such a shame that, because Thackeray came ever so close, and the ball, it just bounced incorrectly for him, and Sharp just got to the ball as well. But then again, Featherstone, you got to expect in a way strong defence from Fats, because I mean 62 tries conceded last year in the regular season. They actually finished the championship's best defence, and they're starting to show it there. But no doubt, Feb, I think we've still got definitely enough quality to break them down as Halifax come on the attack in our half now, Joanne.
Dan Fleming it is with the ball for Halifax. He makes it 5 metres into that Featherstone half, and Grix runs with it. Morel now gets it to Barber, but Barber is met by Ridyard and gets pushed to the floor by Mitch Clark and Connor Farrell as well. It's the last tackle for Halifax, and they're coming down this right-hand side with Morel. He puts the kick high into the air. It's a tricky one, but it's going to go dead, so Featherstone get the 20-metre restart.
Yeah, the big boot of Morel there coming into play again, but bouncing too far. Featherstone earning the 20 tap, and it's not come off that time. It seems to be Halifax's go-to play. They're not showing much else in terms of how they're going to find a way through Featherstone, ball in hand. This committed defence from Featherstone just looks impenetrable out there.
Ian Hardman takes it up to his own 40-metre line, and Robinson there takes it forward himself. He's loves to get in the action, does Sean Robinson, doesn't he? Tom Holmes now gets it to Talapapa, turns in the tackle, gets tackled just short of the Halifax 40, so Featherstone in the Halifax half now. Holmes in at dummy half, has to wait for the ball, comes to Thackeray. Thackeray shows it to Mitch Clark, but then decides to go himself, and he's 32 metres out. A couple of tackles left. I think it's the fourth, is that, for Featherstone. They come down this right-hand side with Ridyard, who puts the kick in anyway, and it's taken well, though, by Will Sharp, who brings it forward. He's 15 metres away from his own line.
Well positioned now, you got to say, about Sharp, but actually well done to Ridyard for putting the kick into the corner and having Halifax work the ball out from deep. They've just got to keep the defence on top. Oh, and Alex Foster has just thrown a pass to Mr. Nurbon, and it's gone into touch.
I'll tell you something, though, Halifax were on a bit of a roll there, weren't they? They were quick play the balls, quick speed at the ruck, but it all came undone for them as Foster threw the ball into touch, as Joe says.
I think that can be the difference between dual reg and being on loan there, that we can see. We've seen Mitch Clark, he's seen this as an opportunity. He's trying to prove himself out there for Featherstone. Whereas over there on that far side, Alex Foster's seen this as a must-do opportunity. He's got 1 week to prove himself and get back in that Castleford team. He's got to be particularly impressive. Throws the ball out like that, and Featherstone get the ball, and they're bringing it forward from the scrum here. Halifax fortunately blown up for offside there. They just jumped up from that scrum well before the ball came out.
Featherstone
Ridyard got to tap the ball 20 metres out then.
Yeah, Featherstone held the ball up well in that scrum. It took an age to come out. Brandon Moore wasn't wise to it. Mitch Clark taking it forward from that tap, though. That penalty tap at 15 metres, he goes forward. He gets a punch on the floor for his troubles, though. Tom Holmes in at dummy half. He shows it to Hock. It comes then to Thackeray, back to Davis, back to Hardman in the middle. Bit of fancy stuff from Featherstone, but Halifax are wise to it, and they get Hardman down 5 metres out. Tom Holmes waiting at dummy half. It comes to Mr. Nobody, and Halifax are going to get the ball. No, they're not. Talapapa did well to backtrack and recover there.
Well, I tell you something, Joanne. Well used of the phrase there, but thankfully Talapapa got back to it. But the danger's still not over yet. Featherstone can still get over. They got another couple of tackles in the bag. Let's see if they can get through it.
Gareth Hock it is who takes it. He passes it to Ridyard. It goes to the floor once again, does the ball though, and Hardman recovers, gets it back to Thackeray. Thackeray brings it out into the middle to Holmes. Holmes now to Connor Farrell. Farrell puts a little kick through for Sean Robinson to chase. It's going to go dead though.
Oh, such a wasted opportunity again, but Featherstone, they were just in complete disarray there. And Halifax, let's face it, they didn't have to do much to survive there, because, again, Connor Farrell trying to prove to be a kicker, but not on that occasion, as Halifax now with a 20-metre tap and they'll work it away.
Can see what he was trying to do, Connor Farrell, though, but there was another tackle left in the bag. I think they could have just held on to it, really. Alex Foster now bringing it forward for Halifax. 35 metres out, he plays the ball. It's a penalty though. There's Thackeray's in the ruck.
Well, Featherstone, they've had that opportunity down at Halifax's end, squandered it again, but now Halifax coming the other way and Featherstone giving a penalty, just relieving all of that pressure, and they've got it all to do again.
They have. Morel kicks Halifax into the Featherstone half. The tap's going to be taken 5 metres just inside by Brandon Moore. Comes to Alex Foster on the charge once again. We know he's a strong player, is Foster. He takes it up to the 40. It comes down that short side, and Grix almost gets away, and last-ditch tackle, and down there on that side by Josh Hardcastle, but then Halifax make a real meal of it and drop the ball, so Featherstone survive.
Grix with the show and go there, nearly found the way through Featherstone, but great cover defence, Ian Hardman to the rescue, as per usual for the Rovers. Brandon Moore, though, costs up possession there, and mistakes both ways. Neither side really keeping hold of the ball. Plenty of loose ball from Featherstone at the other end, and Halifax now giving possession back to the Rovers. Just a bit of set completion would be nice to see at this stage, Joe. Featherstone still in the lead. By no means comfortable at the moment, though, and not asserting themselves on this second half yet.
And it was a fairly error-free first half. It was a pretty decent first half in terms of set completion, but yeah, it's been a scrappy opening exchange to this second half as the ball comes now to Talapapa. Talapapa brings it up. Well, I'm going to say to his own 30, but Halifax pushing back. Gareth Hock comes off the field. Richard Moore back on, and Richard Moore. Goodness knows why Talapapa didn't get a penalty there, but they get the penalty now for offside because Halifax had crept forward.
Well, I was going to say that. Well done, Featherstone, there for getting the penalty. Robinson, he's having quite a game here, quite a first championship game for Featherstone, but they've just got to make some good meters here with Featherstone on this kick to touch. But can they capitalise? Can they get over the line? Because it's all fair dues putting Halifax under pressure. But if they can't get over, then that'll only boost Halifax's confidence, something they've got to avoid, Joe.
Completely agree with that, as Connor Farrell it is who takes the ball forward over the Halifax 40. With his upright running style, he goes towards that touchline a little bit, but just gets tackled in the field of play. Robinson was going to pass it to Talapapa, but he'd actually overrun it, so Robinson had to take it forward himself over the 30. Holmes in at dummy half. Comes into the middle with Mitch Clark, who gets it to Richard Moore, but Moore, a bit of a hospital pass that. Moore already had people round him and he gets tackled 15 metres out. It's a great quick play, the ball from Moore, though that cuts Featherstone on the advantage. Thackeray gets it to Davies. Davies gets it out there, and Featherstone are going to go over that try line, but I don't think they've got the ball down. How did they not score there?
Well, Will Sharp, I mean, he just put his body on the line. For all money, we thought Hardman was going to get over, but my God, I mean, I've mentioned it more than once. That certainly puts Danny Houghton's tackle on Ben Curry to shame, I must say.
How did
saver from Will Sharp over there. Great free-flowing rugby from the Rovers. It looked for all the world that they were going to score, and I think we saw what the introduction of Richard Moore was doing there.
As the ball comes from that tap now, Frankie Mariano, it's the last tackle, he's 5 metres out. Featherstone, what can they do with it? It's the last tackle, as I say. It comes to Ridyard. He tries to put a kick in, but he's smashed to the floor, and Featherstone chase back, and it's a knock-on. And it's a turnover, and Halifax really excited with their efforts there.
Well, it was with Scott Morrell leading the way. It was a block kick, and Talapapa sadly could not get all of it, because if he could, that would have been another set of 6. But yet again, Featherstone, I mentioned how it'll give him a psychological boost, and I think that really has given Fax it. And Featherstone, yet again, they've just got to be left wondering what could have been.
Interesting decision there to award the turnover, because that means that Featherstone, had they collected that ball, it wouldn't have been a reset of the tackle count. Halifax not judged to have played it, because if that was a reset, we'd have had a scrum.
Yeah, I was puzzled with it, to be honest. Anyway, Brandon Moore bringing the ball forward. Mitch Clark tackles him with Ridyard and Holmes in attendance. Quick play the ball, and there's a slip there from the Halifax player, so lost a little bit of his advantage as he was coming in there, and it is slippy underfoot. Morrell now on this short side brings it out, and that's a good tackle there by Talapapa on Woodburn Hall. I think he got a little bit of attention round his nose from Talapapa.
Talapapa looks like a man possessed out there. He's trying to be in every tackle possible. It's the centre. Halifax now bring it to the short side. Morrell kicking for the corner. Clearly Halifax looking for a bit of a blow and a bit of a respite, because they were getting seriously attacked over on this short side by that Rovers defence.
Well, I'll tell you something, it looks like here you've got you got two tired teams, and there's still a half hour to play. It just goes to show the tenacity and the desperation, and of course the fitness and everything just going into this game. I mean, you've got two desperate teams wanting to get a win here, haven't you? And I'll tell you something, it's the fatigue factor really might come into it sooner than expected.
Luke Cooper's warming up down there, waiting to come back on the field. Not going to come on just yet, but yeah, you'd expect Halifax to be the more tired, the way that Featherstone have gone at them in defence, but we shall see. Luke Briscoe now with the ball, 20 metres away from his own line. Sean Robinson from dummy half with that trademark run of his, but Halifax carrying back with Alex Foster. Luke Cooper it is who comes onto the field for Mitch Clark. Featherstone just struggling to make any metres forward at the minute. Mariano it is now, and Alex Foster in the tackling once again. So Featherstone with a great ball on the inside from Thackeray. They make it over the 40. Still in their own half though. Holmes to Moore. Moore takes it forward. He tries to get the ball away, but that's good covering by Dan Fleming to stop him from doing so, and he just gets inside the half. It's a last tackle. It comes to Thackeray. Thackeray runs it to Ridyard. They're running it here. It's a power play. It gets to Briscoe. Briscoe gets it on the inside to Thackeray. Oh, it's a forward pass though.
Yeah, forward pass inside from Briscoe to Thackeray. The one before it could well have been pulled too. It was a marginal one over on that far side, but Featherstone going for the power play. I'll be honest, that's exciting to see for me. I love when teams have confidence from so far out that they're going to play the ball and they know they've got that ability with their hands. Question is, could we have seen it tackle earlier perhaps?
Well, it was such a shame that, Joe. Oh, and Brandon Moore nearly going in without it again. But I'll tell you something though, I mean, it was such a shame because, but then again, a positive out of that, it keeps Halifax on their feet and keeps them thinking actually, and it's showing Featherstone off to be an all-business, well, a no-nonsense kind of team as I eventually get out. But Halifax now back on the attack. Fev just now have to keep strong in defence.
Halifax just over their own 40-metre line now, and Dan Fleming brings it forward. He gets the ball away. Brandon Douglas takes it up to halfway. I think that's on the fourth tackle, is that. Coming forward with Will Marr. That's a good drive forward from him. It was the fourth, so it's the last tackle now. Ben Kay's come back on the field for Halifax. Will Sharp in at dummy half, gets it to Morell.
Great
Farrell chases him. Taken well at the back there by Ian Hardman. It was a pressure kick, sorry.
Ian Hardman, solid as you like. Robinson now returning the ball from that foot of the ruck.
Scott Wheeldon comes on the field for Frankie Mariano. So Talapapa brings it forward up to the 30-metre line. Holmes in at dummy half, gets it to Luke Briscoe. Briscoe takes it forward up to the 40. Thackeray in at dummy half, waiting to... There's a real schmozzle in the ruck there, and they're not allowed to play the ball at Featherstone. Hardcastle drops the ball on the next play.
Oh, poor play that, I'm afraid, from Hardcastle. And Featherstone, it's just... Well, it's schoolboy stuff, I'm afraid, here from Fed. They've just really got to get to grips of things now in the face. A very dangerous Halifax set here as they've got a full set 40 metres out, Joanne.
It is a dangerous set as well. It's things are just turning a little bit against Featherstone at the moment, and like I say, Scott Wheeldon's back on the field. He's in that tackle on Will Marr. 30 metres out at Halifax. Ben Kay gets it to Griggs. Griggs to Sharp. Sharp tackled though out there 25 metres away from the Featherstone line. Ben Kay to Griggs. Griggs has been involved in a lot of things. He lays it back off to Dan Fleming. Good tackle by Wheeldon and Cooper on Fleming. He's 20 metres out. Fourth tackle comes to Morell. Morell to Sharp. Sharp gets it then to Woodburn Hall, who throws Talapapa off, and Talapapa missing the tackle there. 10 metres out. It is the last tackle now. Ben Kay down the short side to Will Sharp. That's great play though by Featherstone. Wrapped up Will Sharp, and a little bit of a mistake there from Halifax on the last.
Yeah, Halifax not had too many opportunities down on the Featherstone line to apply some pressure. Nothing come of that one. Featherstone now with it all to do though, coming out from their own 10 metres.
Connor Farrell it was who wrapped Will Sharp up there. He played well in defence. Sean Robinson trying to create something from dummy half for Featherstone. Just like we were saying, they're just finding it hard to get out of the half. Oh no, Sean Robinson's down injured. That's really bad news for Featherstone, because Halifax have called over the medical staff straight away.
Well, I mean, who could... Well, hopefully it's not something too bad, but it does look bad because he's not moving, isn't Robinson? And I'm sorry to say, this could be long term.
Well, we'll see where it is. Sometimes if it's just a little bit of a back or... neck injury, but he's looking at his knee, unfortunately, his left knee. The physio, she's just attending to that at the moment, so that would be bad news, because he's been playing so well as Robinson in his Featherstone Rovers colours, obviously making his Featherstone Rovers debut today as well.
If it's on the joint and it's something the opposition players have called medical staff over for, then that is a concern. The physio, the only one in attendance at the moment. The doctor's not gone over to see to him, but yeah, it definitely does look to be his knee, and that could be a real issue for a player who's been very impressive for the Rovers so far.
I'm not sure why we've got music on in the background. We're all having a little bit of a dance while Robinson gets that attention. Don't know, bizarre. Anyway, gone now. Oh, no, we've got some more music on as well. It's like an interlude, isn't it?
Well, I mean, maybe to lift the crowd spirits because they were very worried about one of the star players. But no, Robinson, he's standing up, and I think he wants to stay on the field. So that's looking good. That, yeah, I think Robinson, he's just a knock, and he's going to stay on. So, well,
it's on report.
Oh, and there's something. Well, could there have been a dig there? Could there have been a chicken wing? Who knows? But
no, I was just wondering if it was one of those cannonball tackles, maybe, with it being his knee. So Scott Wheeldon now taking it forward. 3 or 4 Halifax players. It's not going to help Featherstone it being on report, but in this game. But we'll see what happens. Richard Moore throws Woodburn Hall off, and Woodburn Hall says, "What was that just came at me?" Moore gets tackled just short of his own 40. It comes to Connor Farrell now. Farrell slips on this turf, unfortunately. So it's the last. Featherstone going to have to kick from in their own half, and Tom Holmes does so from dummy half. It's a good kick, is that. It finds the turf. Will Sharp, though, it sits up nicely for him on his own 10. Ooh, and Holmes clatters him to the floor. That was a challenge and half. He chased his own kick.
I'll tell you what, Woodburn Hall still coughing up on his walk back. Having Richard Moore come up against you as a centre is the stuff of nightmares.
A one-handed pick-up from dummy half there from Jai Hitchcocks, and that is good play because it's released Ed Barber, but similarly good play by Tyler Papa to get him down onto the floor. Barber didn't like that. He sort of standing up to Tyler Papa as they got up there.
Well, that sort of tackle, I mean, that was fantastic sliding defence there from Tyler Papa, and well, I would say he did quell a line break there, but Ben Kerr tries another one down this blind side as Barber puts a kick down there, and Heaton's after this.
Heaton chasing it, but Hardman in there, safe as houses, drives onto the ball on the floor, and he's 12 metres away from the line. But Halifax certainly looking to be the freshest of the two teams in this second half. It's 23 minutes remaining in this game. It's still 8 points to 4.
Yeah, Ben Kay reintroduced to the field, a man who the fans here are obviously very familiar with, but he just showed there how clever he is. He spotted that Halifax had more numbers on the short side, and now Luke Briscoe's bringing the ball out for the Rovers, trying to springboard their chances of being able to mount an attack in this set.
And they seem to have spent an awful lot of time in their own half, Featherstone, in this second half, of not being able to get into that Halifax half, although Connor Farrell just does on the last tackle there. Tom Holmes kicks from dummy half once again, floats it over the top for Will Sharp. He manages to trap the ball football style, and Domes with a clattering tackle. What a chase that was once again by that man Holmes.
I don't think Will Sharp has really known what has hit him in this game. He's certainly not to this style of play in defence, but I mean, credit to Featherstone and credit to a halfback like Holmes to put in a hit on the bigger man.
Keil Carlisle is getting unwrapped underneath us, so he's going to come back on in that hooking position, and it's a penalty to Halifax against Featherstone Rovers. Cooper and Davis offside, so just as they're starting trying to keep Halifax down in their own half, and it's 8 points to 4. Things just could go any way at the moment, and that's a fantastic kick from Morel. Halifax going to take the tap 25 metres away from that Featherstone line. Danger time for Featherstone Rovers.
A real blow for the Rovers. It was the first time they were starting to dominate the field position a little bit in this second half. Halifax, though, right back in the Rovers' danger zone now. Scott Wheeldon and Luke Cooper, though, battling there to try and get Featherstone back in control.
Elliot Morris it is that they take to the floor, and the ball's being taken forward now. Morel gets it out to Woodburn Hall. He tries to dance around Tyler Papa, and they're going to push him towards the touchline. That's fantastic defence from Featherstone Rovers.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, 4 of them came in, but Tyler Papa and I think it was Connor Farrell, they led the way there. They just stuck to him like glue and eventually forced him over the line like a battering ram, must say.
Tell you what, you look at those outside backs for Halifax and you can spot that Woodburn Hall is the weakness there. I think the Featherstone team have noticed that. They're isolating him, they're targeting him, and at the moment it's coming up trumps for them.
Certainly is.
But Featherstone, they've just got to be intelligent and composed from this scrum base. It's 15 metres out from their own try line here, so as the referee has called time off as they're looking for another ball on the field. And speaking of about to come on, it is Keil Carlisle. So we're going to have our hooker returning to the field in just a moment as Featherstone feed the scrum and Hardman takes the first hit up, Joanne.
And I do feel as though, from my point of view, that we did lose a little bit of composure in attack when we've had Carlisle off the field and Holmes has had to go into that hooking role. We'll see what happens when he returns. And Richard Moore it is who brings the ball forward towards that 40 metre, and it's Sean Robinson that's going to leave the field. He's obviously not been so good, and I think we've got a blood bin stoppage here. The referee called it over.
It's Ben Kay there who's bleeding, the Halifax player receiving treatment from the physio. Bit of a change around for the Rovers, then Ian Hardman going into the centre role where he first joined the club. Missy Talapapa coming out to the wing, and Anthony Thackeray taking that fullback position that he showed he was so capable in pre-season. Will that link-up develop in the same way that it did in those pre-season games? Ridyard with Holmes outside of him at standoff, and Anthony Thackeray entering the line late. Keil Carlisle being that first point of contact at hooker.
Well, it's a very interesting change around. Who knows? Maybe a more interesting change around than Joanne's clothing on Christmas, the Christmas party.
Really? Anyway, we've got the stoppage at the moment. I think we're going to have Ben Kay leaving the field because obviously they can't stop the blood. He might need some stitches in there.
When there's an injury, you try and waste time and change the conversation topic. They do it on TMS all the time, but I've not heard one quite like that before, Joe.
Richard Moore now to Ridyard. Ridyard lays it to Cooper. Cooper gets the ball away. Featherstone need to be composed here. Keil Carlisle dives on the ball. They just need to, it's the middle of the park. They've not had the ball for a while. Featherstone just need to hang on to it a little bit. It's the last tackle. Wheeldon plays the ball and it comes to Ridyard. Ridyard puts the kick in. That's a great kick once again, but it does sit up for Will Sharp, and good positioning by the fullback once again, but Moore, Farrell and Carlisle in with the chase, and Sharp gets tackled on his own 30.
Well, I'll tell you something, decent chase up there by Featherstone. I mean, they've really just got to keep Halifax pinned as they're looking to force the ball out there, but Ben Heaton is... no, it's not Ben Heaton.
Hitchcox, I think it is.
Hitchcox, but yeah, they just really got to keep Halifax wrapped up now, and that's a good hit on Simon Griggs.
Really important because he was looking to get the ball to Alex Foster there, and that was a great defence. And it comes to Dan Fleming. Oh, and Dan Fleming meets a Cooper brick wall, and Fleming nearly twice the size as Cooper, but Cooper came off best there. And there's a ball to Morell. And Halifax are going backwards at the moment with their passes. It's great defence from Featherstone. It's the last tackle, the 45 metres away from their own line.
Comes Barber to Morell. Wasn't happy with that.
Comes to Morell, he floats one over the top. It's going to go into touch. Thackeray just lets it go in 15 metres away from the Featherstone line. So Featherstone having to bring it from deep in the half as well. Morell doing the tactical stuff.
Yeah, we said Morell's kicking game again would be huge for Halifax. He's finding these touch lines time and time again, and he's forcing Featherstone to come from deep. Needs something special to turn the tables and give them more attacking sets in Halifax's danger zone.
Featherstone just need to give something to lift the crowd as well. They're very quiet at the moment. I'm looking across to that community stand, and you wouldn't believe that Featherstone were in the lead, and the ball comes out the back of the scrum. Hardcastle bringing it forward. He's 25 metres away from his own line, tries to play the ball and gets pushed back down again by Brandon Moore, but the referee's not spotting these this afternoon. Luke Briscoe takes it forward. He's over the 30 now.
But decent metres there again by Briscoe. He's had a good game for me as Luke Briscoe. He's running in the ball. He's done well for his forward pack, supporting them well, and just making the hard yards. He's doing really well.
He has. He's definitely had a good game, like you say. So now it comes to John Davis. John Davis dodges around a little bit, takes it over the halfway line. Long time since Featherstone were up. Well, in this second half, they've not really much been up near the Halifax line, but there's a pass comes to Connor Farrell now. Farrell's through. He gets it away to Martin Ridyard. Martin Ridyard's going to race under the post for his first try for Featherstone Rovers.
Joe, you said that Featherstone needed to do something to lift this crowd. If that doesn't lift them, then nothing will. Unbelievable link-up play between Ridyard and Farrell. Farrell, what presence of mind for a second rower. He bursts through the line, he shows his pace, but he's got that awareness to pick out his partner, Martin Ridyard, back on the inside of him, gives him the ball back, and then Martin Ridyard, there was no looking back for him, pins his ear back and dives over beneath the posts.
Well, it was awesome play, wasn't it? I mean, it was a 1-2, wasn't it? Ridyard to Farrell, then back to Ridyard. So, yeah, I mean, they're saying football 1-2s are special, but that one certainly was in our beloved sport of rugby league. And hopefully Ridyard this time, third time lucky, can convert.
Lovely dive by Ridyard as well. Quality dive over the try line to score. I hope we got that one on the video because that was fantastic. 12 points to 4, Featherstone in the lead. Oh, we've waited a long time for that try, haven't we?
It needed that long range try to completely turn the tables, and yeah, like you say, that dive in front of all those Featherstone fans sat in the Go Media stand, that should really get them going.
It should. 16 minutes remaining in this game. 12 points to 4. Well, Jay Duffy just screaming things out to Dean Gaskell, the trainer, and Anthony Thackeray down below us. Ridyard kicks that conversion, so Featherstone 14 points to 4 in the lead here at the LD Nutrition Stadium in this round 1 Betfred Championship game between Featherstone Rovers and Halifax.
And the crowd now in full voice towards right in front of us over there in the LD Nutrition stand over there, as we can see, and hopefully a strong finish is on the cards here, Joanne.
Morel going to restart the game, and yes, the decibels have gone up a little bit at last, and it's a great kick-off though from Morel. It's taken well by Tom Holmes, lays it off to Luke Briscoe, who brings it forward up to the 30. Have Featherstone got the tails up now?
They look like they could well do, Joe, but Luke Briscoe, he's been hurt there in that first challenge, rolling around, struggling to find his feet, and the physio's running on to greet him. Another injury to a Featherstone winger would be a big blow for them.
It would. He manages to play the ball. Physio getting into the crux of things. She nearly got taken out by Richard Moore then, which wouldn't be a good thing. And Keil Carlisle now from dummy half takes it up.
Well, let's hoping that tackle on Briscoe wasn't another on-report incident. We'll just say that.
Yeah, it's Thackeray in at dummy half. It's brought back to John Davis, who slips on the turf. It's really slippy. He gets the ball away to Thackeray. That's good play. Thackeray shows it, takes it up towards the halfway line.
Great work from John Davis there. He went from looking like he was on week 1 of Dancing on Ice to finding a spectacular offload.
Dancing on Ice on tonight. It's the last tackle. Wheeldon plays the ball. It comes to Tom Holmes, puts a little left-footed kick in towards that touchline. That's a delightful little kick, and there's a chase from Hardcastle, and gets Halifax Will Sharp down there within his own 10.
But brilliant kick and chase there by Tom Holmes, and even then he even followed up his own kick just behind Josh Hardcastle there as well, so he's done very well then. Featherstone, even though Will Sharp makes some metres, just got to keep firm in defence here as we enter the final stages.
30 metres out, 13 minutes left in this game here. It's 14 points to 4 to Featherstone Rovers. It's been a nip and tuck tight game as Elliot Morris brings it forward. He takes it up to the Featherstone 40, gets the ball out the back door. Featherstone tacklers unaware, and now it comes to Will Maher. Will Maher, that Halifax keeping it alive. The kick comes in. Talapapa's chasing it back. Thackeray just takes it with one hand as Heaton was haring down on him.
Tell you what, that was cool and composed with 2 men breathing down your neck. Talapapa though bringing out the ball again, and now you can hear that family stand, those supporters really cheering for the Rovers, and Josh Hardcastle, the hometown lad, bringing the ball out.
Featherstone 25 metres away from their own try line. They're in their own half at the moment. Connor Farrell, the one who made that try for Ridyard with his composed run, bringing it forward now. He gets tackled 5 metres short of the 40. Talapapa with a little juggle at dummy half, but it's brought across. It's being given some air. Is the ball now out to that right-hand side. Featherstone 5 metres still in their own half though, and it is the last tackle. It comes to Tom Holmes with the left-footed kick once again. Goes skywards. Will Sharp takes it well. He's such a good player at full-back, is Will Sharp, but he's taken some ball and he's taken some hammer this afternoon, but he's still doing it.
Well, I mean, Featherstone once again, good chase as Alex Foster takes it forward, but Halifax is starting to get their tails up a little bit. But what Featherstone have to do, just got to calm things down, keep composure, and hopefully send Halifax home with their tails between their legs.
They have. They've got to remember there's still 10 points ahead at the moment. 12 minutes left in this game of Featherstone, and that's where they need to keep that composure. They've got to keep patient and keep remembering that as Morell gets it to Barber. That's a great tackle though by Cooper on Barber, puts him to the floor. Moore now gets the ball away, and there's a juggle in midair, and there's another juggle from Halifax. So we've got the circus on, I think, and the referee said it's the first knock on, and it's going to be a put in at the scrum to Featherstone Rovers, about 32 metres away from their own line.
Yeah, Halifax throwing the ball about there, and I think they're a couple of hours too early. The Super Bowl's not till tonight.
Yes, indeed. Although we do sing This Is Our House, and it's a New England Patriots song, isn't it, that? So there you go.
All convenient, Joanne, all convenient. But he's hoping for a strong set here, and I'll tell you something though, Joanne. Even the 11 minutes you're winning, but I won't mind a kick from the scrum base here, because if you look at Halifax's defence, they're all up here, and I'd just say, let's just test Ben Heaton's pace out a bit, maybe. What do you think?
I don't know, have we got anybody with pace? I don't think we have at the moment.
I think Featherstone want to keep the ball at this stage in the game. If they can keep that set completion going like we were talking about, like we say, this is a battle for the best part team club in the Northern Hemisphere, and you want to be testing their fitness in a game like that. Featherstone earning a penalty there. There's holding down, and Talapapa's been asking for that all game, because Halifax have been at it constantly, not letting him return to his feet for that quick play the ball we know he likes to find. It's going to be Martin Ridyard with the kick to touch then to give Featherstone that field possession that they've been looking for all the way through this half.
They certainly have, and it's 10 minutes left. It's 10 and a half minutes left in this game. It's 14 points to 4, and this is just eating up the clock for Featherstone, isn't it? This set of 6. It's also going to be a tap on the 30-metre. So Featherstone going to be in the Halifax danger area as Scott Wheeldon takes it forward. 25 metres out. Carlisle in at dummy half. He gets it away. It's coming out to that right-hand side with Hardcastle, and Hardcastle gets it to Briscoe, perhaps a little bit too early, because Briscoe had to check and come in the field. And
then he was met by 5 players, and he's got his end, another penalty there. But you see, Joanne, I would say go for goal to make it 12 points from 10, but I think it's a bit too far out, so I think they should tap here.
No, 8 with 9, just under 10 minutes left. I think, again, Featherstone need to be keeping hold of the ball to eat up the minutes. It's all important is that the more time that Featherstone have the ball, the less time Halifax have to come back into this game. And Luke Cooper now taking the ball forward, takes it over the 10-metre line. There's Halifax players tugging away at him there, but he's not bothered. He'll just go to the floor. Now comes to Holmes. Holmes on the switch to Moore. Moore taking it towards those posts. He's just a couple of metres out. Carlisle waits, gives it to Ridyard. Ridyard out the back to Thackeray. Thackeray looks and gets it to Hartman. Hartman on the inside. Hartman going for the line. Gets tackled just short on his back in the field of play. So just must be inches short. Hartman, I thought he was going to go there. Carlisle gets it to Ridyard. Ridyard now out to Holmes, and it comes to Thackeray once again. Thackeray's going to that try line, and Featherstone are in, and Featherstone must have won that game now.
Well, the 4-prong pivot combination comes into action there. Anthony Thackeray, he's gone to fullback, he enters the line there, and it gives them a 3-man overlap over on that far side. Featherstone looking sensational now.
Well, yeah, brilliant play again, and Thackeray this time rewarded for his efforts. He went himself. He could have given it to Briscoe for a second try, but well done to him for getting over the line there and extending Featherstone's lead. And as Joanne just recently said there, that has surely wrapped up the game and got Featherstone off to a winning start once again in the championship.
Well, you know that Featherstone are in their pomp because the kicking tee apparently was coming on for them to take the penalty kick at goal there, but no, those players out there on the field overruled that decision. They were committed to the fact they were going to score that try, and tell you what, they've proved the coach wrong there.
And I'll tell you something, I'm glad that kicking tee didn't come on. We were saying we didn't want a penalty attempt, didn't we? 18 points to 4.
Well, the thing
9
is,
minutes left.
Well, the thing is, John, I must interrupt you there because it's not the first time that it's actually been sent on. I spotted it earlier I think when it was 8-4 that John Duffy was thinking about sending it on, but no, just carry on and go for another try, and that's what they've done and succeeded with.
Just go for it. Ridyard then with the conversion attempt. About 8 metres in from that right-hand touchline. The Featherstone Rovers crowd sounding a lot more confident about things now, aren't they? I think they were a little bit nervy before. I think we all were. But Ridyard with this conversion attempt now. Let's hope he can get one from out wide to help his confidence with the kick-in. He does. That's fantastic. That brings it up to 20 points to 4. That sounds like a nice scoreline, doesn't it?
Definitely does. Featherstone looking more than capable when they do have opportunities in the Halifax half. It's just about them getting those opportunities now. Complete contrast to the first half, but Featherstone showing how dangerous they can be.
And do you know what we were talking about? Fitness, weren't we? And this team of Featherstone is a fit team. And as Morell just kicks off towards John Davis there, Featherstone are a fit team, and the amount of hammer that Halifax took in that first half, it's got to tell, hasn't it? And I think that's what we've seen in the latter stages now.
Well, following your emphasis on the word fit there, Joe, I mean, but yeah, you are right though, because look at Keal Carlisle. I mean, it's amazing because we're 72 minutes into the game, and for players like him to have that sort of energy, that burst forward, I mean, it's incredible. And Featherstone, they're really in there. They really have got the momentum behind them and really could inflict an even heavier defeat on for fact's sake, because there's still plenty of time for more points as well. And Will Sharp, well, they're up in on him now already.
Keal Carlisle with that kick from dummy half. Luke Cooper is the chaser there that gets him down 15 metres away from his own try line. Halifax just don't look like they want the ball at the moment because the Featherstone tenacious defence, the tenacious D that we've got out there, they're still 15 metres away from their own line with even that next phase of play.
Don't know about tenacious D, Joe. There's a couple of Halifax players look a bit more like Jack Black to me.
I was wondering if you'd...
Penalty awarded over on that far side now to Halifax though. Featherstone with all that defensive pressure, little too eager again, and they're trying to hold Halifax up. Halifax not with a very deep kick though. They're only finding the touchline 10 metres further out. They're almost too close to the touchline really.
They were too close to the touchline. I don't think they could do a right lot. Jay Duffy screaming down below us again is certainly passing on the messages from his brother John.
Well, I mean, we can hear him down here, but how vocal he is. But you like that. You like the passionate figure. And Elliot Morris has lost the ball, but it's another penalty to Halifax. They're getting piggybacked up the field here, and John Davis doesn't like it, but nevertheless, penalty given. So Halifax, they're getting on with this, and perhaps there is a sniff. They do sniff something here. But if Featherstone can keep them out here, that should be game over fully.
Rough decision there, I think. Elliot Morris trying to get up to play the ball. He sort of did a bit of a dying swan and lost it. The tap's going to come on the Featherstone 20 though, so like you say, being piggybacked up the field. Alex Foster runs into a tackle from John Davis and Josh Hardcastle. He goes a couple of metres forward to play the ball there, but Brandon Douglas now gets it out to Morell, to Sharp. Sharp's running with the ball. Woodburn Hall gets hammered once again by Talapapa, 5 metres out. And it comes now into the middle with Morell back to Brandon Douglas. Douglas 5 metres away from that Featherstone try line. Featherstone will want to keep Halifax out here. They don't want to make the score look respectable for them. But Griggs now with the ball going forward, and an ankle tap, an important one from Keal Carlisle, keeps him out. So they're looking dangerous here. Morell gets it to Ed Barber, who slips on the turf. Fortunately for Featherstone, he's 8 metres out, and it's the last tackle.
All those Featherstone men so eager to pounce on him there.
They were. It's the last tackle. They're going for the power player, Halifax. Alex Foster with it. He's trying to get the ball out, and the kick comes through. It's going to go dead, that though. So Featherstone with the 20-metre tap.
I was just a bit worried there with the desperation on the kick. It was got bounced against the post, and there'd be a ricochet that was lucky for Fax, and they might come away with the ball. Featherstone will take an absolute eternity to take this 20 tap now.
Mitch Clark comes on for Luke Cooper. Josh Hardcastle takes the ball forward. It's a 7 tackle set is this for Featherstone, because it's a 20-metre restart, and Luke Briscoe bringing it over the 40-metre line, and Yes, one of the contenders for man of the match. I'd say Briscoe is certainly had a really good game in the Featherstone colours this afternoon. Mitch Clark now over the halfway line.
Well, I must say, Joanne, I mean, even though we just heard over the tannoy there, rugby league is a family game. Featherstone here are playing like one solid family. They're sticking together and they really are playing as a unit and really are seeing out this game very maturely as they look to finish with a flourish here.
Mitch Clark once again taking that ball forward. He's certainly not taking a step back. It's the last tackle in this set and Ridyard has the ball in hand and he puts a little kick through. It's taken by Heaton and he's tackled about 15 metres away from his own line.
That kick chase has been one of the most positive aspects of the Featherstone game there as Will Sharp breaks through the line. It's only a half break though, as he's grabbed around the ankles by Keil Carlisle. He's looked really determined since entering the field again.
I would say that Will Sharp is probably the best Halifax player this afternoon if you were going to give a Halifax man of the match.
Every time you see Halifax play, Will Sharp is the standout man, but Featherstone coming away with the ball here at the scrum. They're just going to have another chance to attack Halifax, and Halifax not getting any respite here from the Featherstone team. Battle of fitness in the second half between the Northern Hemisphere's two best part-time teams. Gareth Hock got into the field again for the Rovers, and he's not a man you want running at you when you're knackered.
Last 2 minutes, Gareth Hock, it looks like he's going to come on to just really hurt Halifax, well, I think.
It certainly rubs salt into the wounds, put it that way.
Certainly will, and just out there, just looking at Ridyard, he's got a lovely mud patch down his front from that swan dive he did. Anyway, Featherstone from the base of the scrum, they kept it in the scrum once again, looking for a penalty, but they didn't get it this time. Thackeray's got the ball 25 metres out, Richard Moore comes off. Gareth Hock is going to replace him on the field. John Davis 20 metres out. Richard Moore gets an ovation from the Featherstone fans once again because he's worked so hard this afternoon. Carlisle now gets the ball to Mitch Clark 10 metres out. Featherstone, can they get some more points in this game? Just over a minute remaining on the clock. Ridyard comes in and he gets it to Carlisle. Oh, and it should have been a fantastic try there, but it wasn't. The move just fell apart at the last minute.
I think Thackeray got a bit too excited there because I think he was already touching the ball down for his second try, but sadly not. However, final minute and final plays of the game now, unless the referee's blowing it there, is he? No, but yeah, Featherstone still have the game won here. It just depends by how many now, as Halifax will probably go for one last attack here.
Tom Holmes gets the stadium man of the match. So the man of the match sponsor, Task Utilities Limited, they have deemed that Tom Holmes is today's man of the match. Half a minute remaining in this game as Mirel puts the ball into the scrum. Halifax bring it away, but they get tackled on their own 10. Featherstone defence going right until the end of this game. So going to be Featherstone's first win, the first game, so that's a great start for John Duffy's Chargers against one of the contenders. Halifax throwing the ball around though, and it comes out to this right hand side with Ed Barber. That's great tackle by Ian Hardman on him though, and we could have a bit of biff on the final hooter even. I think Gareth Hugh was saying, come on lads, it's all over, let's play nicely. Featherstone Rovers, the victors in this round one Betfred Championship game. 20 points to 4, they come out. It's an important win. It was important for John Duffy and his men to get that win under their belts. It could have been a potential banana skin against one of their top 4 contenders, one of their top 4 rivals, Halifax, but certainly not. Featherstone have come out victors and came on strong in the latter part of that second half to come out. That fantastic Martin Ridyard try under the post after the Conor Farrell break, and then we saw the Thackeray try as well, and that has kept Halifax scoreless in this second half. Featherstone 20, Halifax 4.
Vintage Championship rugby there, Joe.
I think
two hard battling teams hammering into each other all the way through the game, and the team that showed that little bit more class is the one that comes out on top.
It certainly is. It's not been great underfoot for the players this afternoon. We had torrential rain yesterday. There's been a few slips out there, but Featherstone coming out the victors. It's important. It'll be interesting to see what John Duffy's thoughts are in the post-match press conference on this game. That's where we're heading next. But yes, well done Featherstone Rovers. They've got the first 2 points on that league table. They'll be sitting pretty tonight, and Halifax won't.
Well, it was awesome playing. Look, Featherstone, there we are with our cameraman Robbie Purvis in view there. They're all together as a team in a huddle, and it's fantastic to see this team can go places. And I'll tell you something, they're certainly going home tonight with their tails up with 2 points, and under John Duffy, 5 wins from 5.
John Duffy taking all the players now over to those happy Featherstone Rovers fans. They've liked what they've seen this afternoon, certainly in the latter stages of that second half. It was about Featherstone Rovers staying patient. They've certainly done that, and well done Featherstone Rovers. Got the visit of Toulouse next week, haven't we? It's C'est Notre Maison, I think, next week, rather than This Is Our House. So that's what we will be singing. Thank you for joining us on Rovers TV this afternoon. Like I say, see you next Sunday.